Hi, you're watching Norfolk Cable TV. This is State and Local. I'm Anne Marie Battistone. I have the perfect guest because she combines the state aspect and the local aspect. Norfolk's own Patricia St. Aubin. I say St. Aubin, such a lovely name. And she is the Massachusetts State Committee Woman for the GOP. She's an elected official of the Mass State GOP. And if I could tell you a little bit about her, a very interesting background. She's a competitive swimmer at the U.S. Masters level. She's fourth in her age bracket in the U.S. for the mile. She is an undergraduate BS in accounting. She has a master's in American history and getting another master's in European history. And she is one of the hardest working women in the Mass State GOP. It's word on the street has it that she's everywhere at all times.
Oh, thank you, Anne Marie. I try very hard in my new elected position. But I thank you for having me here today. I've
glad you came.
Watched others on this program, and I've admired your knitting program
thank you.
as well.
You're a knitter, is that right?
Yes, my mother taught me as probably a 5 or 6 year old how to knit, and I just recently found a photograph of myself with probably one of my first knitting projects, and you could see that I had a number of dropped stitches on the little piece I was working with. But
now, speaking of back in the day, you've worked for you've campaigned for Republicans for quite a long time.
Yes, actually going back to college, when I was at Providence College in 1979, I worked in Washington, D.C., in between my junior year and over the course of the summer, and I actually met some people that were working for the George Bush campaign. And people may not remember, but before he became vice president on that ticket with Reagan, he actually was running for president at the time. He won Iowa in 1980, and he was off and running at that point. So I was already involved as a senior in college. When I came back that fall, I got involved in the campaign and would take the bus up from Providence to come help out on that campaign in Boston. So I've been at this for quite a while. I've been a registered Republican since age 18. And it just made sense to me this side of the aisle.
That's right.
For even studying accounting, I think it just drove the points home to me about what Republicanism, our platform, is all about.
Exactly. Now, Now you were the Republican State Committee person. What were your responsibilities?
Well, there are 40 state Senate districts in the state. And each state Senate district has a state Republican committee woman and a committee man. So there are 80 people in total.
One Republican, one Democrat.
No, there's, well, the Democrats do it similarly, but there is a man and a woman for the Republican Party that go and represent at the state committee meetings and work the district. So my district, what makes it easy is that it aligns with Richard Ross's state Senate district. He just so happens to be a Republican state senator, but it doesn't always hold true. If you're in some other state Senate districts, you can have the Republican state committee people, but they have a Democratic state senator. The district runs from Wayland down to Attleboro.
Wow.
And there are 12 towns in the district. Well,
that's quite a response. Now, do you have to go out into the district?
I do. I go out into the district regularly. I am out almost every night at meetings.
Oh, my goodness.
Yes. Well, with 12 towns, 10 of them have up and running Republican town committees. So they meet all different times of the month and on all different days and in all different places. And some of them are quite active with participating in parades or participating at their town day or just having a social where they getting together casually or having a barbecue for a social event. And I try to go to all events. And then, of course, we have a number of candidates that are running at any given time, and I try to support the candidates that are running in the district as well. And so, there are many, many functions that go beyond the Republican Town Committee meetings that I go to.
Now, I recall when I was looking, I was trying to email some of the RTCs at one point, and I went online and I noticed that if they didn't have a website, they weren't listed on the state website. Is that still the case? Isn't there something about websites that
No, they're all listed there. It may have been a different click on their website, but The contact anyway, at least the chair's name and number and email address is typically listed at the Mass GOP.
Oh yes, the names were there. That's
Unless
true.
somehow the chair doesn't get that information back. But
Now, do many of them have websites? The RTCs around the state?
yes, most of them do at this time. But they sometimes don't if they don't have somebody sitting on the committee that's techie. But most of them do. And
Right.
some of the others are willing to help out, if they know that one's in need.
Now, how long is your term for?
My term is 4 years. So I was elected in March of last year in 2012. It typically is Republicans voting me in on a Republican ballot, so they do it at the presidential primary time frame, and it's an additional question down below your choice for who you're picking in the presidential Republican primary. So independents can vote for me as well as long as they're pulling that Republican ballot. But it's not on a general election ballot. It would always be on a party-specific ballot.
Now, how would you say, so you promote activities, you do outreach, how would you say things are going for the Republican Party in the state? Would you say it's
Well, I think
coming
they're going
back,
well. When I came in March of 2012, there were a number of us that were new to the state committee that came in. Although my background of working on campaigns since 1979, I think put me in a very good position to be a state committee person. It was my first time serving. With that most recent election, there were a number of us that came in, and we came in, I think, to give some new life to the state party and to attract some more candidates to run and to be supportive to them and to be out there and be visible at the RTC meetings. So I facilitate a lot of events.
Oh, you do?
Yes, throughout the district.
Now, for example, it's something recent.
Yeah, well, actually, in Needham on Tuesday evening, we had Representative Shauna O'Connell come speak. And she is the woman that's taking on the EBT issue.
Fabulous.
And it was open to the district and beyond. We had about 50 people there, but that came from the Needham RTC having a brainstorming session where they were just bouncing around a number of ideas. They have a new chair, and the new chair was trying to engage the committee to think up new ideas about how to attract people to come to their meetings and to keep those members in tune and wanting to come back to the meetings regularly. And they said, let's have a couple of guest speakers. A couple of names were thrown out, and Shauna's was one of the names. Date was picked, and then I facilitated with Shauna and her schedule
with go
to
between.
yes, I became kind of the broker on. They had one night available, June 11th, at the public library in their community room. Before we kind of go into a hiatus during the summertime with so many people on vacation and whatnot. So a lot of the RTCs, Republican Town Committees, that's what RTC stands for, don't meet over the summertime. So they wanted to get it done quickly. But because she was topical, and certainly all of our state reps, including our own here, Dan Winslow, could talk about anything topical within the district or beyond. But it just so happened that they were interested in Shauna O'Connell that particular evening. But I can facilitate and place a call to any of the state reps if somebody wants one of the other state reps on any given subject matter that they might be, kind of focusing in on.
Maybe I should prevail upon you to see if you can get the Dan Winslow or Richard Ross over here, because I've tried to get them on the show.
Well,
and,
I can try. I mean, I'm in touch with both of them regularly. So, of course, we're very lucky in this district to have great representation from a Republican aspect.
That's true.
Some of my counterparts on state committee are not quite so lucky with having a Republican anywhere to be seen that's at the level that Representative Winslow is and State Senator Ross are at, and the job that they do for this district.
Well, Shauna, my jaw dropped when I saw that they wanted her to pay the $800 to get the records for the high balances on the EBT. I mean, it's almost like you can't even make this story up. And sure enough, I think people helped her pay for that. I think she was able to take some money from campaign chest. I thought, wow. I said that really impressed me. I mean, I was impressed by her before, but I thought that took a lot of strength, and I think she's really
She mentioned that the other evening, and she said that she hopes to get those records soon. So
it's already been what, a couple of weeks at least?
Yes, it has. It has.
And they're charging $80 an hour to get them. I mean, people don't buy that.
I know.
They don't believe it.
I know.
I mean, I certainly don't. $80 an hour.
She's fighting, but they're all fighting up there. So we're in a minority right now. We want parity, and we're hoping to find. My role is to hopefully find people that will run for selectmen, that will run for town clerk. And we're lucky here in Norfolk that we actually have 8 Republicans elected to the local levels.
Oh,
That's true. And what we need to do is groom those people so that they're ready to run at the next level. And that's what I'm trying to do, and trying to, again, facilitate throughout the district, is to find those particular Republicans that are willing to run, and then groom them for the next level, because it's not easy to run. It's hard on the psyche. It's hard on the family.
You ran very hard. I remember that.
I ran hard. I did have somebody that I ran against. It was my first time running at something, and I was very fortunate and thankful that I won. But, you have to understand what a campaign's all about, and you have to kind of get your ground game going. And so these local elections provide that for the candidates. So if they want to go and run for state rep, or they want to run at the next level, they're already groomed. They understand what it's all about. And it is a sacrifice, whether you're a Democrat running or a Republican running.
It's a financial issue as well, right?
It's
to
a
some extent.
sacrifice on many levels, to the family, to your job. And so people have to understand that. And not everybody wants to do it. And it's not always easy. It's not always pleasant.
Now, Patricia, I heard, just to go back to something you said, that not every town in your district has an RTC. How does that happen?
Well, there are 12 towns in the district. It does...
one city, right?
One city, Attleboro.
Yeah.
But I only have a couple of wards in Attleboro that are in the district. So right now, 10 towns have up and running Republican town committees. When I came on in March of last year, 9 towns had Republican town committees. So I have, with some help down in Plainville, been able to reorganize down there. They had one, and it went out for a little bit, lack of interest or whatever. People's lives change, they move on. But we have reorganized Plainville. The 2 towns, and I'll put it out to the people watching here, if they know anybody that lives in Sherburne that's Republican and would like to step up to the plate and help me organize a Republican town committee in Sherburne, I'd be happy to do so. And the other town is Millis, which is close by. Yes, we did have a meeting scheduled, and in order to organize, you actually need 3 people. You need a chairman, you need a treasurer, and you need a secretary. Most committees run with a vice chair or a co-chair as well, but to organize and to be registered with the Secretary of State, you really only need 3. So we had 2 people show at Millis last summer, and it might have been because it was in the summertime that people just didn't come out for that particular meeting. But Millis and Sherburne are my 2 towns right now that I'm trying to organize, and will continue to do so. But if anybody watching has a relative or somebody that they know that I should be in touch with, then please, get in touch with me.
Well, we can put your email, whatever email or contact information at the bottom of the...
The email would be good.
I'm surprised about Sherburne, because many years ago, I'm talking like maybe 12 or 13 or 14 years ago, there was a Sally Pollock in Sherburne who was very, very active and had all sorts of things going on, and I guess she's moved away. She lived on what, 27, where 27 goes, 115 goes up through that Millbourne area, and it goes up and it connects with 27.
Yes, I'm sorry, I don't know Sally, but we are trying to organize in Sherburne, so, we're hoping.
Huh. Now, you are elected, but you are not paid for this, is that right?
Exactly. It is a basically it's a volunteer position within the party. It is a leadership position within the party. As I say, there are 80 of us, but we are not paid for the role that we do. It is elected, and you have to run every 4 years if you want to stay on the state committee, but I don't get a stipend. So
All that driving.
yeah, driving and whatnot, and contributing to candidates, and helping them out. But I knew that taking it on. I was fully aware. So, but it is a lot of time and commitment, and I think people don't quite understand how large the district is, and I often can't be in 2 places at night because it does run from Wayland down to Attleboro. And if you were to drive it, probably in a car, just straight through,
Right.
it would probably take you an hour and a half,
That's
to
right.
go from one part of Attleboro
Right.
all the way up, through Sherburne and
Right.
Natick and Millis and all that to get to Wayland. So it's Norfolk, Bristol, Middlesex is the counties that my district covers. And again, it aligns with State Senator Richard Ross's district. So it is a big district. These districts are decided upon by population. So there are state committee members in Newton and Brookline, for example, that just have Newton, Brookline, and a portion of Wellesley. I share Wellesley with someone that she just has Brookline and Newton. So she's got 3 towns and 3 committees. Now, those are big towns and whatnot,
yes.
a lot of work within each town. But, she only has 3 meetings a month that she has to go to. Currently, I have 10 meetings a month that I go to,
My goodness.
along with other things.
My goodness.
And I choose to do it that way.
It's a lot.
I work very hard. You started off by saying that I work hard. I pride myself on that. I've always been a hard worker. I've worked 2 jobs, many of my adult life when I was single. So this is not something beyond me. I am a very hardworking person, and I have committed myself to it. My name is attached to this role, so I want to be effective and know that people can count on me.
Now, tell me something, just out of curiosity. Have there been any unusual experiences or anything fun that's happened? And that's part of the question. The other question I have is, are you in a position, or are you supposed to, if say there's, I don't know, something amiss in one of the town committees, to intercede in any way, or not?
Okay, well,
Do you
there's
have
2
any-
questions there. I think I'll challenge the second question first, because I think I can answer it easily. I haven't seen anything amiss. So I hope nothing happens amiss, but I honestly haven't had to step in or intervene in any given situation. We've had some elections where somebody is moving out of town, like right now, the Plainville RTC. The gentleman is stepping down because he's moving out of town to a new apartment. And so we had to put our thinking caps on about who from that committee would step up and become the chair. And we did that in the last couple of weeks. We worked together on that as a group, because I go frequently to their meetings, and they consider me their consultant almost.
Right.
And so we were able to get a new woman to come up and become the chairman. So we're going to have continuity there. But there really hasn't been any major difficulties.
I didn't mean to imply that, but I mean, if something were to have happened, are you in that kind of a capability of coming up and saying, look, this has to be straightened out?
I
this or that?
suppose so. I mean, it's kind of a hypothetical,
Yeah, I
and
understand,
it's it just has not confronted me at the present time. So I'm happy about that. Everybody seems to be, moving along nicely with their committees. But get back to your first question about whether or not, there's been something enjoyable that has, there are a lot of enjoyable things. There's many people that you meet in this role. I'm going out frequently to new places. I go beyond my district to meetings as well. And there's a lot of camaraderie because we are such a small number of, the voters in the state.
That's right.
But it does often surprise me, you know, how often you meet somebody new. The other night at this Needham meeting, for example, someone had driven from Holyoke to come down
Wow.
to participate at that meeting. So that was, you know, a very fun thing to meet somebody that had taken the time to come that far to hear one of our representatives. But I suppose the most fun thing that has happened was that I was an alternate delegate at the convention last
that's
August.
right.
Yes, and
That slipped my mind. Oh my
yes.
goodness.
So, and I mean, you can
What
run
was that
on an ad
like?
hoc basis for the convention to be a delegate or an alternate.
I remember this now.
But I did run as a state committee member,
Oh.
and so, you know, I went. And I had a fabulous time. I've been to 2 inaugurations. For my work as a young person in 1981, I went to Reagan and Bush's inauguration in January of '81 after that work that began with the George Bush campaign in '79. And then I was invited to the in 85 inauguration when Reagan won again in '84, but I didn't go then. My work life did not allow it. But in '88, when Bush won himself in his own right for president, I went in '89 to the inauguration.
Now, you mean the ceremony, or do you mean the balls?
Oh, the ball, the whole kit and caboodle. Now, you don't always get close
Yeah.
when you go to the ceremony. I wasn't that official. You see it on TV that there are many people
sure.
way back. But I did go to both of those inaugurations, and in 1981, when Reagan won, because there are so few of us from Massachusetts, and he was from California, which is a very large state, there are actually several balls when you go to Washington.
They're by organized by state?
No, I don't really know how they organize them, but the one that you really want to be at is the Lincoln Center, because they go around to all the balls,
Yes.
but they end up back at
Oh,
that
okay.
one. And so because the Lincoln Center, you know, was the prestigious one to be at, California had first dibs on it because that was his home state.
Right.
But Massachusetts got to go in on that one because we are
Oh.
such a small state.
Right.
And so, you know, it worked out nicely. But that's going back a number of years. So I'm sure you have a couple more questions about today.
Oh,
but
my
that was one
goodness.
of, you know, last year going to the convention was a lot of fun, and I have told my husband that it was my political bookend. That, you know, if nothing else happens for me that's exciting, I got to go to 2 inaugurations and 1 convention, and, you know, I'm very pleased with that.
Oh my gosh, yeah, that's quite a. I remember, I should have thought of that to ask you, and it slipped my mind, but we had talked about it. Have you
Yeah.
saved any of those ball gowns?
Yeah, as a matter of fact.
Oh, now, would you like to talk a little bit about the Gomez-Markey?
Sure.
Race?
Yes, I can talk a little bit about that from the standpoint that we have the candidate. You know, we had a primary that was April 30th, and our own state representative and Norfolk resident Dan Winslow was in that race, and he did very well here, and we're very proud of him. His campaign office was close by, and I was down there regularly helping him out, as were many others in the town and people from the town committee. But you know, sadly, Dan did not prevail in the primary, so now we have Gabriel Gomez from Cohasset, and a young man, 47, 48, former Navy SEAL, businessman that went to Harvard Business School, and he's you know, from South America, and he speaks Spanish.
Colombia.
Yes, he speaks Spanish fluently, and he's doing very well with the Hispanics because he's in the communities, going to a lot of their festivals and their parades, and this could be a surprising election. I want to just remind people that it's June 25th. It's a Tuesday. It's not on a lot of people's radar, but you know, please get out and vote.
I've got to get an absentee ballot for that.
Yes, and there's a
25th.
cutoff for the absentee ballot date too, isn't there?
I don't know. Do you know when
No,
it is?
I don't.
better
We should look that
better
up. but-
contact Sean Dooley about that.
Exactly, Sean, who I was just on the phone with before I came over here. But yes, the election's June 25th, so the candidates all over the place. I've been to several of his fundraisers and been at events. I know that he's going to be at the Farmers Market in Attleboro, which is in my district, on Saturday at
Oh.
10:30. So if anybody wants to go down, I know they were looking for people to go down this Saturday.
How did he make his money, Patricia? Do you happen to know?
He worked for an investment banking firm. And so, when you come out of Harvard Business School, those people get picked up by...
Doors open for
you. Many of them get picked up by investment banking firms.
Huh. Because I thought, aren't they down to 7 points? They're 7 points apart, right?
That's my understanding as of earlier this week. So it's exciting. When you see Obama come in, which he was here yesterday, and my understanding that Biden's going to be here soon, perhaps tomorrow or Saturday.
Does Marky want to win, or does he want to lose?
I don't know.
Well,
they rallied the troops. On that side, those people, are who gets out the vote for them. We've had John McCain here.
He's kind of linked himself up more with John McCain rather than with Scott Brown, has he not, Gomez? I was reading that in the Herald the other night.
Yes, well,
he consults with Scott, but he's...
Yes, Scott's still around, but, Scott's taken on different roles in his life presently. He's with a law firm in Boston, and he does commentary on Fox News now.
I've seen him.
Yes, lots of people tell me that they saw Scott last night or whatever. So, just get out and vote on June 25th for Gabriel Gomez, and go to his website, gomez4ma.com, Gomez4, F-O-R-M-A.com, and you'll find out more about Gabriel.
Alrighty. And how can people get in touch with you, Patricia?
Well, I am in the Norfolk phone book. I don't work any longer. I was in the corporate world for 30 years, roughly, in all sorts of positions with my accounting degree, and I was in the insurance industry. I worked for a hospital for a while, but presently, after getting my master's degree, I am at home pretty much, and I do devote a lot of time and energy to this role.
Well, with this, I mean...
Yeah, you kind of have to. I mean, if you're going to do this role well, and I try to, then I spend a lot of time during the day. So my home number is best 508-553-9778 here in Norfolk. I am in the book, Patricia St. Aubin. And my email, I tried to make it easy. It's psaint, S-A-I-N-T, @comcast.net.
Okay.
And, I'll field questions or concerns via email.
Oh, so Patricia, thank you so much for being.
Thank
Maybe
you.
we can come back another time. We can talk about things again and see what's going on.
That would be very nice.
After the election and with some of these, all this things going on in Wash. I'd be interested in talking to you about that as well.
Thank you, Anne Marie, for inviting me down here, and thank you for this program. As I started out earlier saying, I've watched the knitting program, and I've seen others be interviewed by you, and this is a nice service for the community, so people can put a face to a name and understand different roles.
That's exactly
within the town.
That's
and
right.
what people are doing behind the scenes, possibly. My job is volunteer, but of course there's a lot of town positions. Mine stretches a district, but up at the town hall, there are a lot of volunteer positions
that's true.
where everybody's needed,
Exactly.
and we don't always know what people are doing that's from a volunteer standpoint.
That's very true. Well, thank you again for watching State and Local. We'll be back in September. I'm going to be away for a while, not in Greece or anything like that, but I'm getting my other knee replaced, so look for the shows to start up again, maybe in September or October. Thank you for watching. I'm Anne Marie Battistone.